Minecraft commands in about 5 minutes. All right. We should have the YouTube live stream coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Hope everyone's having a great summit. I know throughout the week it's been a little bit quieter, but I know a lot of people have been running around getting all the collectibles, which is fun.
I need to do a final run because I'm missing a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm still behind. I haven't gotten them all either. All the builders hit all the plushies, so I have no
Yeah,
idea where they are.
they know the answer. Yeah, like cheating. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and let me just get my setup up. I'll be stepping back in like 1 minute. All right, all right. Let me get another broadcast tab. We'll be getting started in 5 minutes. This is a really nice panel with a lot of information, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, maybe too much, but we'll see.
Yeah, everybody should be piling in. What is everyone's favorite thing to do at Summit so far? I know people have seen all the different booths. Yeah, those are really awesome. I remember first seeing the Baba's You built booth coming together and it's having a lot of fun. I still have not beaten it. I don't know if I'll get around to it. Some of those puzzles are really hard. Cure Flux. Oh yeah, the Cure Flux one is really nice. Especially after some of the TPS issues are resolved, it's a lot easier to make some of those parkour puzzles. Yeah, I will say we have been doing a lot of testing with the lag. I think a lot of things have been smoothing over now that player counts are a little bit lower, but yeah, we have been doing a lot of testing behind the scenes to sort of iron out some of the lag, and we found a lot of different pieces of data that are helping us kind of figure that out. So we have a lot of still fun activities coming up. A lot of panels, one a day, and then on Friday we have the fireside chats. Will be pretty fun. We have some cool things designed for that. So really, really cool stuff happening. Yeah, there'll be some more information about the fireside chats coming out later today, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah, one of my favorite parts about being involved with Smith Summit and organizing everything has been just talking with all the different booth vendors. I think there's so many talented people in this community.
Yeah, there's a variety and different things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really cool, and even just coordinating with our partner in Bloom, with figuring out some of these performance stuff has been super helpful. They've given us a lot of internal data to help us figure out where in the Minecraft code are we hitting hard and stuff like that. So We're nearly about to get started, Mr. Penguin. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. I'm gonna set up myself to see the slide and
Yeah,
space
for
in the
sure.
audience. Yeah, okay.
We're just 1 minute away, so I'll please ask everybody to take their seats right now, and we'll get the show on the road. Awesome stuff. So, welcome everybody to the panel with Mr. Penguin. We have problem solving with Minecraft commands. Mr. Penguin is also a representative of the MCC booth available at Summit. They are one of the many mods that make up one of the premier Minecraft forums or Minecraft command forums. And they have a really, really cool talk about some of the ways you can work with commands. So, if everybody could get seated, we'll go ahead and get the show on the road. Mr. Penguin, if you want to take it
Okay.
away.
Yeah, I'm taking it away. So, I'm Mr. Penguin. Maybe you've seen me in some like the Minecraft Command Discord server. So I'm here on behalf of myself. Not It's not organized by the server. So I'm gonna talk about problem solving, and we're gonna might go pretty far. We'll see. So maybe talking about motivation first. So if you know our app chat system, we have a lot of questions, and some of these questions can be really technical. And you can see here some example about some really technical question from the last month. So some people might ask something about Minecraft array, or you can manage, or you can work with some component and stuff, some not easy thing to do. So this talk might cover some example about what you can do. So we're gonna talk about general problem solving, then what we can do in Minecraft to do problem solving. Then we're gonna see how we can see Minecraft as a programming language. Maybe that can be helpful. And then we're gonna see a crash course about data manipulation and commands, and then some conclusion. So problem solving is the kind of thing you might do every day. So for instance, if you're looking for your keys, you might have used some problem solving technique to find your keys. But like if we think more specifically about designing a game or map, we might need to use problem solving more precisely. So here you have some technique which are not problem solving, but which we can that can help you solve problem. So for instance, you can discard the problem. So for instance, if the ID is bad, or if you're near the end of your development cycle, you might need to reject some IDs. So if you do that a lot, you might end up with less original results. But if you do it at the right time, you might reach your goal faster. So it's not really, it can be a bad thing, but it can be a good thing. Then you can change the rule, so you can kind of avoid the problem. Like you can change your mind or have a better idea, but it's like it's not always the best thing to do, because if you're working with a team and you plan some project and you describe some really precise really precise game or something, and some people start working implementing the game, and if you change the ID, that might completely change what people already done. So it might not be the best answer to always change a rule. Then you can solving a problem. We'll see more about that. And then you may fail at solving your problem. So for instance, the solution might not be practical, so it can have some performance issue or some problem to to make your solution into your real game. Maybe you might have some bugs, so you might not realize that you solved your problem. So in a few days, you'll see that you'll have to go back on your problem, and maybe the problem is impossible, and you might find out that a bit too late, and you may waste some time. So what you can do, you can optimize your code, and sometimes you have to maybe give up the problem, like really thinking through and go back to changing the rule or specification. Okay, so once you have your problem decided, you might need to do you may have to take some more decision. So for instance, the environment, like stating that you want to do a game with a data pack with Minecraft is a kind of choice. Maybe you need to assess the difficulty. So you may need to say if this problem will take you like 2 hours to solve, or if you expect the problem to take you 2 days to solve. So it may be really important to define some goals. So maybe you can also use a built-in solution. Like you don't need to reinvent the wheel every day. You might find someone who already solves your problem and just use that solution directly. That's a very fine thing to do. And if you really want to solve your problem, you need to answer the how question, and in contrary to when you're designing, when you answer the what question. Then you might need to refine specification. You might need to be more precise about the input and output and make some decision about data structure and algorithm. We're going to see about that. And maybe you will need to do some things that will not directly solve your problem, but might help you, like writing tests and use some performance tool to measure your performance. So I'm going to probably fight on this one. So algorithm, you may have heard about them. So I will define them as a step-by-step description of how to transform some entry in an input space to an output. So the idea is that you can really pick some pen and papers and solve some problem on that. But fortunately, using a computer program, we can automate the process and we can really run some really complex process automatically, which is interesting. So fortunately, we have a lot of well-known algorithm. So when we solve problem, you might, if you have some knowledge about a lot of algorithm, they can get handy. So next, the other thing I talk about is data structure, which is more about layout of your data and the operation transform and access the data. So it's a really important point. The data structure is just the definition of what you want to do exactly. So really transform and access. So the idea is on efficiency is that you will need to pick a data structure that is efficient on the transformation you want and access you want. So we're gonna see a few examples. So with the list, you might be able to add, get, and remove elements. So in this example, add is somehow fast, get is really fast, but remove might not be that fast. So depending on your problem, if you need to remove a lot of elements, you might need to find another data structure. So you might have maps, which you can put, get, and remove really fast. You have a queue, which might sound great because you can add, get, and remove really fast, but only on the endpoint at the start and the end. But it can get handy. Then you have a heap, which is more about specific problems. So you can add and pop elements, but getting the smallest element is actually really, really fast. So depending on your problem, heap might get handy. Then you have tree and graphs, which are a whole family of data structure which handle nodes, which are like points, and links, which are line between the points. And here, once you define the data structure of tree and graph, you can have some algorithm that will run on that data structure and solve some specific problem, like a pathfinding. And you can, like, the solution might not be fast, but it can help you solve complex problem. So it's interesting to use those. And then you have databases, which are like the most general data structure, but are not the fastest one. If you're really specific about what you want to do, you might find some specific, like a combination of lists and maps, which will be much faster than a database. Okay. So here is an example to emphasize on the difference between data structure and algorithm. So I asked ChatGPT how to reverse a list, and they give me something like that, like a solution in Java. So yeah. And this is the algorithmic solution, and it runs in ON. So it means that if it runs depending on the size of the list. But if you know a bit about problem solving and all that, you know that it's not the fastest way to do this task. And ChatGPT gave that solution because we only ask how to reverse a list as a single task. But if we gave more detail about why we want to reverse a list, maybe we need to reverse a list like a lot of time. And here you can have a better solution. So to get the solution, I asked ChatGPT, can you stop trolling and give me the O1 solution? And they give me the O1 solution, like it's a really fast solution. So to reverse a list, the idea is just to use a state to see if your list is reversed or not. So this is the data structure solution, and it's really fast compared to the algorithmic solution. And we can get to that if we are really specific about what we want to do. Even if you ask AI nowadays, you really have to give as much details as possible. So here you have some more tools of problem solving. So you may need some skills. So it's about knowledge, field vocabulary. So even if you talk to an AI or do some Google search, you have to maybe find the right terms. It's really important. You have external reference. So maybe you need to know where is the documentation of what you're working on. And the idea of open-ended learning, which is like if you go to school when you're young, you shouldn't think that you need to stop learning after you're over with school. The idea is that once you start working on things, you learn every day of the week. So here you have some more specific problem solving methods. So divide and conquer. So if you need to go from A to B, if the path to from A to B is really hard to reach, maybe we need to split A into a smaller problem. Maybe we need to take some step between A and B. Maybe we'll need to try to reverse, so go from the solution and try to work our way back to A. And that will maybe give us a better way to reach a solution. And maybe we can use trial and errors. So for instance, if we have an odd problem which involves a cube and a cylinder, which might want to try a simple problem with a square and a circle, and that may give you some insight about how to go on the more hard problem. So other methods to solve problem is about taking a walk, which is a very good one. Sometimes you have to get the problem in your head and clear your head and go back to the problem later, and that may give you some insight. Then you have rubber ducking. Don't know if you heard about it. It's about explaining your problem to a duck. Some people use explaining your problem to a small child, so you have to simplify, and maybe that will give you some ideas about how to solve the problem. So the interesting part is about problem solving stage. So once you know to do things, so now I'm gonna okay. So imagine you have 3 people and you give them a problem, and the 3 of them will tell you, I don't know. So the first one will tell you, I don't know, because they have literally no clue where to go to solve the problem. You probably heard some people say, I don't know where to start or stuff like that. So they say, I don't know because of that. You have some people that tell you, I don't know, because they don't see a clear path to the solution, but they have some idea on where to go, but they don't know which path to take. And maybe you have some experts who also say, I don't know, but in their head, they know 4 solutions to the problem, but they don't know which of the solution is the better one. So it's a great representation of how you can evolve into problem solving in some domain. And the idea is that when you change domain, you go back at the knowledge phase. So you have to gather knowledge in the domain and then build your way up to the expertise. And the way to do that is practice a lot. So you have to use almost every day and practice and use the thing on this domain you are. Okay, so here are some problem solving resources if you're interested. So Math Olympiads, maybe it might be the closest thing you've seen when you were in school. You did maybe a little bit of problem solving in school. So they are really formal problem. and the answer might be a proof, a mathematical proof. Then you have Project Euler, which is a website that gives you problem, like a lot of them, and they are more about math and programming. So you have to use a programming language to solve your problem. Then you have some more hardcore websites, which is about competitive programming. So I see the Z2 because I only use G2, and they're not the best one. Just use those. Then you have Advanced Code. We're gonna talk about that. And then you have some like programming games. So you can check out on Steam. You can find some programming games, and I call them Zachtronic-like. With a specific genre. So you have TIS 100, you have Human Resource Machine, you have Shenzhen IO, and you have Opus Magnum, which are really interesting programming game. And last, you have working on real life projects that will give you some opportunity to solve problem. Okay, so the question now is, can we actually do problem solving in Minecraft? So I picked Advent Code. Don't know if you know about it. So it's like an advent calendar. So during December or during 25 days, you have 2 problems per day. And it's really interesting. So you are expected normally to use a regular programming language to solve this problem. But here, I try to do it in Minecraft. So why I choose this one? Because the difficulty is interesting. Like on the start, it's quite easy, but on the end, like so you can see, it's really popular. So you have 250k people who solve day one, and only 10k who solve the last day. But it's quite a lot for the problem solving scene. Okay, so the problem format is interesting. So you have some really big lore because it's Christmas themed. So you have lore about Santa, elf, and stuff. So you have some explanation on task. You have a text file as input, and the output is usually a number. So you have 2 parts. So once you solve part 1, you have a star, and you unlock 2, and on part 2, you have the same input, but the problem changed. You have some twist to the problem, and you gain another star if you solve the problem. So myself, I use some self-imposed rule to do it in Minecraft. So the output, I should be able to copy paste it directly. So like I shouldn't have to do some transformation. I gave myself some time limit, like 10 seconds to run the solution. And the core idea too is to think through with Minecraft commands, like implementing the solution with Python and then try to convert it to Minecraft command is not the greatest idea to gain some insight about Minecraft command design, how to design Minecraft commands in Minecraft. And the last requirement is to have fun. So it's probably why I didn't complete a whole year, because at the end it's a lot, because 2 problems per day, problem can take more than 2 hours sometimes. So it's really a lot to reach the last day. Okay, so I skipped over a detail, is that the input is a text file, but Minecraft, you cannot read text file. So we have to find some way. Oh no, first, yeah, we have to look at how input look like. Maybe they are really nice. And for this one, like you can see some example, and they are actually not that nice. You can have some really long text. So I don't know if you see, but it's not even numbers. You have some characters, and here you have a big ASCII table, and here you have something very annoying to parse. So I cannot like manually transform this input for Minecraft. So I had to find a general method. So I use something like that. So here if you imagine the input is ABC3, it would be very tempting to take that 123 and put it in a score. But like to get a general solution to the input, I had to do this kind of transformation. So like even the numbers are put as characters, and everything is in the storage. Okay. So here is some history of Advanced Code attempts. So we have these people only used Minecraft to represent the data, not actually solve the problem. So that's one, like they use a computer graph turtle, so they wrote stuff in Lua, and here they use plugins to display some kind of game of life in 3D. Then we have the first successful attempt was in 2018, where someone named Simon who used some really advanced mechanics. So they had some wall assembly interpreter in a data pack, so really impressive. But as you can see, that the big stone wall is actually a binary representation of the data. So just to read number, that like it can be quite slow. Yeah, but it's impressive that they are the first one to actually make the computation solve a problem in Minecraft. Then we had some honorable mentions, or also some people tried. So we are the Command Master used the command preprocessor known as Sandstone, and more recently, Penguin Encounter solved 3 days in 2023. So if the story stopped there, we could say that maybe Minecraft is not fit to solve problem, because maybe some people manage to reach a few problems, but like only the first problem are supposed to be easier, so it might be a fluke. So we might think that Minecraft is not fit at all. And but that changed because we have Blue Speaker Ranger, which is in the audience right now, who managed to solve 55 problems, which is quite a lot. So they even reach day 18. I got it right here. They reach day 18, and not only that, but they actually recorded some pretty visual about the solving process, the solving computation. So there are images, but they made it whole videos about that. And in my case, I also tried for a few years, and I actually solved 80, no, not 90 program in between those years. So you can maybe see the similar images. And in my case, I only have fewer visual because I really focused on maybe performance in some case. So it's a different programming style to make the solution display in real time in Minecraft and running the solution in one tick. Compute everything in a single tick. It requires some different technique. So then it's about quiz time. So I collected a lot of data about my solving process. So can you guess, actually, how many commands can you run in one tick without lag? So can you input some number in chat? Not really, a bit more. So can you guess approximately how many can you run? 1,000, 20,000, 1 million, oh, 1,000. So yeah, it depends on the command, but the idea is that how much as at the maximum. Yeah, not on average, because I solved a lot of problems. Some of my problem had better results. So yeah, we had a range of answer. I saw good answers, and the answer is about 100,000 actually. So you can see the graph around here, and you can see 3 layers that represent different technique I used, and you can see that when I use only score and storage, almost all my solution were around 100,000 command, which is a lot, because if you're used to working with entity and stuff, you might see that the limit is way lower. So the middle layer is when I use blocks, and the last layer is when I use entity. And yeah, the entity solution I didn't use much at E, but on this specific one layer, you can see right at the bottom here, I did use quite a lot at E, just to maybe to see some result. And if the graph is actually at 4K limit. So yeah, once you start to use entities, your performance will change a lot. So we need to focus on techniques that only use store and storage, and we will get some really interesting results. So what did I learn? So yeah, the performance results are kind of interesting, because I didn't expect it to be that fast. Like you have to a lot of wiggle room. And what I had is that debugging is hard in Minecraft. The drawback I found, main drawback, is that the code is not reusable. I spend most of my time copy pasting loop patterns and stuff. The idea that you need a lot of function file didn't really occur to me. Like most of my solutions are like 4 or 5 files and maybe 10 files at most. The idea that there is missing feature, not that much, because at the time we even didn't have return and macro, and I didn't really had any needs to. I didn't have any really important features that will make the problem solving any easier. So yeah, and maybe about command preprocessor, like I didn't use any, and I didn't see how they could help me solve the problem, because what you can see is that preprocessor work before like they don't know what the input, so they can't magically solve problem without before you get the input. So they can help a lot with code style, with a lot of things, but for problem solving they might not help as much. Okay, so yeah, I need to breathe. Okay, so now we're gonna see about Minecraft command. We're gonna treat Minecraft command as a real programming language. So if you try a trick to do that, is called categorization. So we're gonna assume it's a programming language. We're gonna see how we get there. So if I give an answer to that, I'm gonna say that Minecraft command is not a programming language because it's missing 2 things. It's an animal mascot and a logo. But once you get that, it can be a programming language. So if we categorize it, the main point is that the language is domain specific. So the domain is the Minecraft world. It's the most important point to understand Minecraft command. So the paradigm is a bit imperative, procedural scripting, because originally it worked with commands. So yeah, abstraction level. So the abstraction level is about how close you are from the computer. So you could say that Minecraft commands are really, there is a long path. You have Minecraft, you have bytecode, you have Java, you have a lot of layers. But actually, within the domain, the abstraction level is quite low. Like you have direct access to entities and stuff. And when you compare a solution, like how you actually program, the solution, they look like low-level programming language sometimes. So compilation, yes, there is some validation and serialization process in Minecraft. Turing completeness, yes, it's actually very easy to be Turing complete. And is it an esoteric language? I would guess it's no, because you can give millions of example. Like you can go on GitHub. I don't know the exact number, but like on GitHub there could be more than million of line of code written with Minecraft commands. So it couldn't be the case that it's an esoteric language. So about more property, so Minecraft command have some kind of unique property, like the idea of global context. It might sound kind of scary, but not that much when you see the features. There is no concurrency, so the command really run in a specific order. You have macro commands, which are some idea that something can change at runtime, which is interesting and new, didn't exist back then. And you have some nested data structure, which is interesting, and you kind of only have that. So it's kind of limitation. So yeah, and you have the idea of execution context, which is kind of specific to Minecraft. So a few drawbacks. Some people claim there is some feature missing. Don't agree that much, but yeah, it can be a drawback. It's actually kind of slow. So if you compare it to real programming language, some other one like Python and stuff, it can get like 100 times to 1,000 times slower. And if you look to more performance programming language that overuse a really big optimization method with threading and stuff, it can be like maybe 1,000,000 times slower. Another issue is about compatibility. So maybe some new version can add some new command and completely break the existing data pack. So it's a big drawback. The domain is a drawback. So you really only have access to the Minecraft world, and so you don't have access to file and stuff. And also it's high verbosity. So the verbosity is about how much character you need to express some ideas. So I calculated that's about 6 times. So you need 6 times more character to express some code and stuff. Okay. So now we're gonna do a crash course. So I can't promise really the course parts, but there will be a crash. So yeah, I need to go really, really fast because there is a lot to do. So you either already know about that, and in the time we have left, if you don't know that thing, you won't be able to learn it. So we're gonna need to go really fast, and the slide will be available at the end. So don't worry about it. So I can identify 4 primitive type: score, storage, entity, and blocks. Score are about storing an integer, and the interesting fact is that score are tied to entities and players, and actually the game doesn't care if the entity or the player even exists. They don't check anything. So it's actually you can specify any name, and you can tie a value to it. So score is just a name and an objective name, and you can use an integer value. So now you have storage, so which are just arbitrary NBT. But for the next the talk, I'm gonna just refer it as storage, which are type JSON data structure, and you can do a lot of things about that. Yeah, have fast yeah, the important part is that they are fast queries, but you can't do arithmetic operation. Like you have to convert them to score, and then you can do your operation there. Then you can have entities, which are like a position and a direction in 3D space, which is literally the definition of a math vector. You have the idea of execution contexts, which are tied to entities, and entities can have NBTs. Then you have block, which is a really nice feature, which is a nearly infinite 3D array of blocks, which have some limitation, but like it's really interesting. And here, if you take, for instance, 16 colors for a chunk, you can get around 8 kilobytes of information, which gives you some ideas about real memory representation. So then we're gonna see about assignment. So the idea is just how to change a value. So if you assign a value 0 to A, if you do A equal B, it will assign the value to B of B to A, so you can change value. And then for the last part, B might be a different type, but you need to have some way to convert B to fit in the type A. So you have a little example with integer and float here. Okay. Okay. So when you want to do assignment with command, the main tool you have is execute store, which use a destination, which is also primitive type we've seen, and the source, which are primitive type, and return value. It only works for numbers. And when I say return value, so for instance, you can have random. The random command will put the score round object, will put a value between 1 and 10. Okay, so then we have assignment with score and storage. So we don't even need to use execute store, because now we have some specific operation about how to assign score between each other and storage between each other. You only need to use execute store when you want to convert score and storage. Okay, so now we have, on score, you have a few operations like arithmetic, some other comparison, like it's not comparison, it's actually assignment, maximum, minimum, and swapping. Then you have some bulk operation, like you can sum a list of score from players directly. Then you have some comparison tools with execute if score. So now we need an exercise break, because let me remind you that we are in a crash course, so we need an exercise break. So let's say you have the number 17, and we need to find a way to multiply it by 4. So what can you think about? Can you think about some commands to do something like that? I'm gonna give 4 solutions, go through them, So the first, oh yeah, it's small, yeah. So I'm gonna, yeah. The first one involve adding the number to itself, and then do that again. So it will multiply the number by 4. But the drawback is that it doesn't work on a number. If you wanted to multiply your number by 20, you need to change that command. Another way is to set up a constant and multiply that number to the constant. And you need to the drawback here is that the setup will need to be in a different place. It kind of, that's a drawback. On this one, you can use the scale to do the multiplication, but like it's quite long and less efficient. And on the last one, you might need to you can set up a macro to do the calculation. But the idea is here is that you will only need one command and no other setup. But it's again, it's really slow. So here you have 4 solutions, and the main point of Minecraft command is that sometimes it's not obvious what to choose. So here the most common one is to use this one, like using a setup. But the idea I wanted to bring is that you need to embrace and move on sometimes. So you need to pick a solution and just go for it. So if you stop at every little thing, you're not gonna go anywhere. So that's the idea of this example. So next you have some operation on storage. I'm gonna go really fast on this one, on all this one. So on storage you can modify, get, and remove some data. Here you have the idea of storage paths, which are some syntax to allow you to access deep into your data structure. Yeah, it's from MCC. Then you have some operation on arrays, so you can modify them. The middle one is the merge one, so you can actually merge array with this syntax. So if you have an array 1, 2, 3 and you merge it into itself, you can get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so on the last one, you can get some information about your array, and you can even get the size of your arrays. Okay, so here you can combine array and object. So here, yeah, I have a bunch of example on different structure you can use, and depending on your problem, they can help you. Like we saw with data structure, they can help you solve your problem, give you an efficient solution to your problem. But there is a lot of choice. It really depends on your problem. Okay. So then you have some operation on string where you can modify them, and you can also convert any other type to a string. So here you can see I can take an object and I will get the object in the string. Then you have string splitting, which is recent, and you can get some specific substring if you specify some index. Then you can get the length of your string, and the major one is string concatenation, which allow you to merge 2 strings with a macro, but you have to use a macro. So yeah, the macro is just text replacement. I have the full example, but I don't have time. And macro, so a lot of people claim it's slow. It's kind of true, but like if it makes you avoid using like 10 plus commands, it's a no-go. Like you need to use macro because it's the solution. And they have some drawback and stuff. Yeah, macro of, yeah. Then you have structure control. So you have if statement, you have not, you can negate some condition, and you can set up some if else construct by using a temporary score. You have storage matching, which is an interesting idea. So here you can see that I can test if a specific storage is a specific character. So it's what you can use to do string parsing. You used to, now you have better technique, but you used to do that. Then you have partial matching. So maybe you've done that. If you have an inventory, you can test if the inventory contains this specific structure. The inventory could have many more data, but you only want to do it to know if it match that data. And on the last case is exact NBT match. It's the idea like where you want to test if the data is exactly what you want. So you can compare A and B, and if the data are exactly the same as that won't fall into partial matching. But that's a really important idea, exact entity match. So then you can do loops with some setups. And the idea is that for loops, you need to do recursion. So now the question is that when you need to do recursion, what do you need to do? You need stack, you need... Yeah, so the full answer is that it's not easy to handle, because actually, because the main thing we saw is that there is a global context. So if you want to actually use recursion, you cannot really reuse core in the function you call. So you can have some solution which is a stack one, and you also have a new one like a macro solution where you can use some specific ID on your score, and they can be you can use them recursively. Yeah, you have both solutions. Yeah. Okay, so now it's the end of the crash course. We crashed, but like the slide will be available on the thread, on the Discord server thread. Don't worry about it. I know that we went through this really fast. So now I'm gonna go through a problem solving example. So I just pick an interesting problem which involves strings. So the problem is about reverse a string and ensure only the first character is in uppercase. So just to give some insight about the problem, like it's supposed to be easy. So on real problem solving challenge is much harder than that usually. But like the interesting idea is that it doesn't tell you exactly what you need to do. So you need to figure out some ways to reach that solution. So we're gonna go through the problem solving process. So there is one example, and we need to find some more example. So what happens when there is an empty string? And here the main difficulty of the problem is that there might be some uppercase character inside in the middle of the string. So you have to be careful to put it in lowercase in the solution. So when we solve the problem, I'm going to give the solution. So it's going to be 3 steps. First, we lowercase the string, then we reverse it, and then we capitalize the first character. And supposedly that will solve the problem. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to use other programming language. So in Python, you can have this solution. I wrote that solution. It's really easy and fast. And you can see I cycle the 3 steps. Then we have the C++ solution. C++ can have a similar solution than Python, but I asked ChatGPT to show the work. So they made the steps more clear. And you can see the big yellow circle is about reversing. We saw this one earlier. And this is the Minecraft command solution. So you can see it's way bigger, and it's way harder to see what is happening, but it actually solves the problem. So yeah, I use some like double map to handle changing the case of the characters, and then I loop to change and reverse the string. And then all this part, the red part, is just about uppercasing the first character. So you really need to use a lot of command to do something like that. But the point of the talk was actually to get inspired by real programming language to solve problem. So the last solution was actually really close to the C++ solution. But if we look more carefully about the Python solution, can we get inspired to write a similar solution with Minecraft commands? Maybe, and this is why I'm showing here. So maybe we can imagine a pipe function that will take an input path, and then we will feed into different function in sequence. So you're gonna lower, reverse, capitalize, and print, and they will solve the problem. So once the pipe function command, the pipe function exists, you just need to implement a lower, a reverse, and a capitalize solution, and you're done. So yeah, it's an interesting idea I'm putting there. I didn't use it in the Advent of Code solution because that was this kind of technique is more recent things. So yeah, we are near the end. Still need to go some switching. So this is the obligatory slide. So in a lot of talk about technology and new technology and stuff, people fail to show a case where Minecraft commands are superior. And here I'm showing you a float fill implementation, which is just a command and a single function. So what's interesting is that it's kind of short for Minecraft commands given the verbosity, but here you can see it solves a problem quite easily, and you can see if you're in game, you can see a satisfying solution right before your eyes. So yeah, it's interesting. So, like Minecraft commands and Minecraft in general is really interesting from this point. So here I'm gonna give more insights. It's the conclusion. So the idea is to steal some idea from other programming language. So maybe what can we do about typing and abstract type in Minecraft? Maybe in my case, maybe we can do designing like libraries and preprocessor by actually solving problems. Maybe we'll end up with more interesting preprocessor. So in my case, I didn't use any, and I didn't really get really inspired to make my own either, because I have some like a wish list for some preprocessor ideas, but like none of them implemented all of them. So I'm gonna like it's really outside of the talk, but like I might bring some new idea about preprocessor or like a specific one, and then we can use maybe some better method. Like there is a lot of interesting one currently, but like maybe more idea about sharing libraries and make some reusable code. So in this case, you can see the idea of dynamic function call. So for instance, you can have function callback. So in a raycast, you can specify a function to call, and once the raycast is done, you can call that function. Maybe you can have the idea of iterator. So in this case, I just specify a short power function that just calculates the power of two integer, and it iterates over your array and gives you a result. And you can have a more complex iteration process. So yeah, I implemented iterate area. So you can specify an area and a function, and it will run that function at each of those positions. That's how I generated that random cube. This function actually exists. I'm gonna provide it near the end. And the idea is that library shouldn't just be endpoint. They can be like help you run more function. Currently, all the library are mostly endpoint, but like putting like them in the middle should be interesting. So the main problem I had to take decision about mostly everything is about how do you even call a function from a library standpoint. So do you require the user to set up a score before your function? Do you require to specify a value? Okay, maybe you need to specify a path. Maybe it's carry to specify a path to your data, or maybe you can use more an abstract idea to just reference a name, and we might like you wouldn't even know where your data is stored, but you will reference things by name. So the conclusion is that there is a lot of idea to go. Like I only brought up a few new idea from recent like macro and stuff. And there is a lot interesting pattern to discover and to bring forward. So maybe we'll have some new interesting command features. So I don't think we'll get a scripting system like that's a requested feature, but I don't think it will happen soon. And all the other thing is that data manipulation is much more widespread. So I did use it to solve a specific problem, but like in the recent year, you may have seen a lot of projects that do dungeon generation, that do a lot of things that actually use very similar technique. So I'm not alone to use that kind of technique. Today they are really widespread. And then finally, if you're interested in learning programming or trying problem solving, you should try advance of code, which will be starting the 1st December, so really soon. And it's really my plan to do it again in Minecraft this year. And special thanks to all the Smithed team, specifically Eric's and Curious, who helped me set up the Minecraft command booth and all the panel setup. And yeah, and here we can do maybe a little short Q&A because we have 10 minutes left.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks everybody, and thanks Mr. Penguin for that awesome presentation. I think it was a real crash course. A lot of dense information. I think the VOD will be pretty useful. So
yeah, I'm gonna provide the slide. Don't worry.
yeah, no, this is pretty awesome. Yeah, so thanks everybody. We'll do a Q&A. So please leave your questions in both Discord chat, Minecraft chat, and YouTube chat. I'll be collecting them all up.
So I see a question in YouTube chat. What programming language is closest to Minecraft? And I think it's quite unique. So I don't really see one that is closer. Like I stated that they are close to imperative style language, but like it's quite unique because it's a domain specific language. You cannot find a similar one easily.
I think a lot of people compare it to assembly a lot of times with how you write it.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a stretch. It's a stretch. Yeah.
It is definitely a stretch. Yeah.
If you have any more questions.
Yeah. Any other questions out there? Oh, we got a couple.
Which proposal feature are you missing from other projects? So yeah, I gave some details in my slide, but like the main feature we lost is about counting how much command you're running in a function, and that's the kind of thing maybe preprocessor can do. So my idea of preprocessor is actually I hate the idea of compiling every time you do a little change. So my idea was rather to input some command and you have something that run and read your commands and do something. So the other thing I did was about I spend a lot of time commenting and uncommenting debug messages. So if preprocessor can help me automatically comment and uncomment messages, that can be useful for me.
Cool.
So
yeah, I think during the fireside chats there will be a pre-compiler get together with some of the people who are pre-compilers. So
yeah,
I'm excited to talk about
I need
pre-compilers
to
more.
dig into it because yeah, it can be. It's not useful for everything for deep hard problem solving. It can help with command structure and stuff, but like I don't know. I don't know. I might try to make one. Or I don't know.
Yeah. We have another question from Blue. What kind of libraries or generalized reusable code did you have to create to solve the AOC Minecraft?
So at the time in like 2019 and stuff, I didn't use anything. But like more recently, I tried to come up with a more data structure oriented library. So you've seen some iterator and stuff. So I tried to implement that, but like I'm failing on some, like I saw at the end, some hard design decision on how the library should work exactly. But like it will be mostly about to solve problems. You really need some some strong data structure, like fast and strong data structure, and maybe long number manipulation, and that should be enough. That should be enough to solve a lot of problem.
You got one in chat. Have you used an in-game mechanic other than commands in a solution, like solving a quadratic using in-game physics?
The idea is interesting, but like my goal was to create kind of fast solution. So yeah, I understand the idea, but like it doesn't occur to me because I had some other goal.
And we got one from Liam. Without thinking about the performances, we could have a visual resolution of the problem in game.
Yeah, that's a question.
You might
Yeah,
need to expand on that, Liam.
like Blue Psycho Ranger use a lot of visual, but like not all problem will be able to show some visual. Some problem are just about manipulating some numbers, and they are not really about showing some blocks and stuff. So even people who do visualization, it's not always interesting. So yeah, I didn't wanted to spend more time on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
And
visualization are really nice, are really cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have one from Curious that says, "What is one of your favorite problems that you've solved in Minecraft commands?"
So I solved a lot, but like one really interesting one, like at the end of the problem, like the problem was kind of not too hard, but the last step was about finding the median, and the numbers were larger than integer. So the very last step was about implementing that. It was really hard to implement long numbers and sorting near the end. So it was kind of annoying, but like, really fun. And it was an early problem, so like kind of surprised. I think I spent more than 2 hours on that. Yeah.
Yeah, Begin seems like a pretty interesting implementation using commands. I haven't seen any libraries doing like a big int or big float.
Yeah, because it's not like you can write some implementation, but it's hard to generalize it to make it a reusable library. Like back in the day, now it might be easier, but back in the day it's harder. It was harder.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, I only did addition and multiplication. Like you don't need to implement all operation.
Cool. Are there any other questions for the speaker? Problem solving with Minecraft?
I'm gonna stick around in vocal. So if you have more specific or technical question, or if you want to go through through the slide slowly, we might be able to do that.
Yeah, unfortunately people found out about the formatting stuff in chat, but that's okay.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
think you'd probably wrap up here. It seems like there's a lot of interesting
Mox
ideas.
bring up something like solving advent of code with command block, and like on the first year, I did had to do that a bit. So you had to use some command block setup to run some things. So I kind of already did that, but we don't need to do that.
Yeah, I think you have to use command blocks for like dynamic dispatch back in the day before
Yeah,
macros.
yeah, yeah. You had some tricks with command blocks, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really thick crash course. This feels like a good video to rewatch on the YouTube. So I'm pretty excited
Yeah,
to use
I
as
could
a
go
research.
over all the example. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to do, and I skipped a lot of things, and I could go even deeper. But yeah, yeah, it's a very deep topic.
Yeah, but I think we can go ahead and wrap up. I'd like to thank
Yeah,
our speaker, Mr. Pingouin. Mr. Pingouin is also one of the moderators and big resource compiler over at the Minecraft Commands community. So do check out their booth over in the town area. And another blurb about Minecraft Commands is that Minecraft Commands is one of the biggest resources when it comes to the commands community. It's sort of where a lot of the people started from. I know Smith mostly came from the Minecraft Commands community, so big thanks for a representative from over there, and big thanks for the audience for being here and listening to their presenters. So, thanks everybody.
yeah, and thank again to the whole Smithed team. Yeah,
Thank you. Upcoming next will be a presentation tomorrow by 15 years of Noteblock Studio by the Noteblock Studio crew. So tune in for that one. That was pretty exciting. I heard there's a special surprise during that panel, so look out for that as well. As always, if you're looking forward to the rest of Smith, please check out our website, our YouTube stream, and our Discord for all of the latest and greatest details for the rest of Summit. We still have more things coming along, so stay tuned. Thanks everybody for joining, and we'll catch you soon. Take care, everyone. I realize I need to close the stream.